What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the New Orleans Saints franchise. We have won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, spoiler alert, and now we're here in the offseason. We've got Aaron Rodgers retiring, Zadarius Smith is gone, Kelsey's gone. After an injury, didn't allow him to play in the Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl loser nonetheless, causing this guy to retire. Go figure that. Kyle Fuller, Jaquiski Tart, George Fant, just a couple of big names. Eric Fisher in there too. Jordan Hicks, man, a lot of big names. But Father Time always wins. Eventually, you're going to have to retire. You're not going to be as good as you once were. So we're going to head out here to the re-signed players phase. We're going to bring back Rasheed Walker to be our backup left tackle behind Trevor Penning. But now we have a left guard situation. Do we bring back Eric Flowers, our Super Bowl hero, thanks to Jameis Winston's fumble in the end zone, or are we going to sign Floyd Kelly? We're going to bring back Floyd Kelly. It's not like Eric Flowers was asking for a ton of money there, but I think I want to push the young guys out a little bit more out there. So we're going to also bring back Calvin Throckmorton. We're going to let Ernest Brown walk. Taquan Graham, we're going to let him walk as well. I think we can solve those things in free agency to kind of bolster that a little bit better, because those guys are decent players. They're good depth pieces, but I want better depth, if that makes sense. So cornerback, Alontae Taylor, I would have loved for him to become something. And it's a good thing that he's not really interested in coming back. You're going to have to overpay to get a guy like that. But that normal dev just really hasn't panned out for him. So I think he was a star dev at one point. So he had actually lost dev trade. So we're going to elect not to bring him back. We're also not going to bring back Will Lutz. It's just the interest level. He's red right now. He's spent his entire career here in New Orleans. He's had a lot of great moments for us. I think we're going to let him walk. We'll bring back Rigoberto Sanchez as well to be our punter. He's been solid in gameplay. I don't really have a problem with Rigoberto Sanchez, but we do have some coordinator spots to fill up, namely our OC and our DC. Pretty crazy to consider the fact, we just won the Super Bowl and now our guys are gone, right? So it must have been our guys are getting hired elsewhere. We're going to go out and sign this guy, Rodriguez. He fits our playbook. He fits our scheme perfectly. He seemed to be the only guy that would fit. And now this is interesting. Ron Rivera is looking for a hire, and I think we're going to do it. I think this is a good mix for us. Ron Rivera is going to be our defensive coordinator, really teaming up with Dennis Allen as our head coach, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade Mr. Ron Rivera out here. We're going to focus on that trench play, and practice makes perfect. We'll end up going on the other side there. Now we got a decision to make. Are we going to focus on our cornerbacks, or are we going to focus on our safeties? We do have a lot of cornerbacks, but I feel like our safeties are pretty darn young with Shaden Sprinkle, and L.A. Rowe. So, cornerback, we've got a lot of depth there, but I'm really relying on Sprinkle and L.A. Rowe to kind of be the future of our safety positions. So I need those guys to progress a little bit faster. And to boost your catching rating, I think that's going to help them. So looking at our roster real quick, just a real quick glance and seeing where are our weak spots, what do we need to focus on in free agency as we're getting ready to head out there. Left tackle doesn't seem to be a focus point. Left guard, I don't think that we need to focus there because we do have Throckmorton. We've got Anderson here. He's not too bad. He's a 61. In Madden terms, that's not terrible. You're not awful. You could possibly play as a backup in a desperate roster. But maybe there's something out there that really hits us hard. We have to focus on it, right? Linebacker could focus on an outside linebacker, maybe a guy that's fast, can play outside if we can move him out there. But we've got, of course, the safeties that I just talked about there that we want to focus on, giving them time, giving them snaps, giving them reps, because I don't want to take jobs away from them. So knowing full force that Tyrann Mathieu is going to eventually retire, I feel like that's a good decision to make. But here's your top 100, at least as far as interest goes, guys that want to play for us. It's got a good list, man. But you know what? We've done pretty good in this franchise series about not overspending for players. I still want to hold to that. I don't want to like break the bank on somebody because we don't necessarily need it. Like we went 15-2 last season with this roster. So it's really just identifying guys like Alex Wright, who does one thing well. He block sheds really well, which I think is going to help us out in gameplay. If he ever did get involved in gameplay, it's going to help us there. Kyle Juszczyk, great fullback. I love Kyle Juszczyk. He's going to be perfect for us. We've had kind of a patchwork fullback situation. We've put Taysom Hill out there. We've put Eugene Edwards, our backup tight end, our young tight end, at fullback in some snaps, some downs, some formations. So it's nice just to have a guy back there who's naturally a fullback that's going to help out our running game for sure. So we will go out and sign all of our targets. We got Levi Onwuzurike, former Detroit Lion. We got Juszczyk, we got Alex Wright, and we also got Nick Neiman, who's going to be, again, that kind of that fast linebacker. Yes, he plays middle, but I think the speed, I think that's how we like to utilize our outside linebackers in that pass rush. He's going to fit in nicely for kind of a backup to Caesar Braun, who loves to rush the quarterback. So again, like the offensive line, as far as tackles go, I think we're set there at right and left. We got our end spots filled up. We've got Wright, we got Simmons, we got Russo, we got Levi. We're good there. I think we're fine. We might need another guy there from free agency or the draft, probably the draft, get another speed rusher in there. You know, I think the situation is we just need one more guy as far as depth is concerned, because, you know, having 4, a little light. I think that might be a little light. Now, looking at the signings, got some big ones there. Jameson Williams going to the Denver Broncos. Sauce is going to the Giants. You got Darius Slay signing with the Pats. J.J. Watt is still sticking around. He's going to go to the Vikings. Taylor Rapp to the Redskins. Oops, the Commanders. Dante Jackson, Jabril. Anybody else there? Will Lutz, Jack Conklin, Chuba, Mechie. There's Juszczyk. Ajay Mudia went to the Browns. Eric Hendricks, Foster Moreau. Jarvis Landry's still a free agent. Peyton Turner goes to the Texans. Will Fuller, I think that he was a free agent still. Quintez Cephas going to the Browns. The Browns spending a lot of money here. So are the Vikings. Okuda is going to go out there to Minnesota. So here's our draft picks heading into this year's draft. We got your natural picks plus a 6th. So that's what we got going on for us. But we will simulate pick by pick up until our spot. So I'm looking at like Cajun 6 players. That's really what I want to focus on here. These other guys, I'll call them out. They're just CPU generated dudes. But basically the first Cajun 6 player taken off the board is quarterback from UL Monroe, Ferdinand Giroux, going to the Eagles. So should be an interesting matchup whenever we square off against those Philadelphia Eagles. Going up against our quarterback from the ULM series out there, Ferdinand Giroux. So we'll go ahead and keep on simulating here. I was looking at that guy, Gabe Yamarillo. I was looking at him as he's another speed rush type of guy. I was eyeing him, hoping that he would fall all the way down to where we're at in the first round. And unfortunately, he was taken within the top 10 by the looks of it here. But we got a couple of CPU players getting taken until Sky Blessings would be our second Cajun 6 player taken. That is, he's going out to Carolina. Wow. So we're going to have to face off against him. We've already got Randy Jordan from Texas. We're going to have to play off against him every time. He's tough. He tore us a new one for sure. But now we got Sky Blessings from Tulane. That's going to be tough. Nice little 1-2 punch out there for Jeff Young, quarterback from Georgia Tech. So keep on simulating here. We got Levi Craig from Grambling State going to go to Baltimore. Keep on simulating here. Our pick is actually coming up. There we go. So the Chiefs will take Lamb right ahead of us. And here's your updated board. Anybody that's a heart who's been favorited, that is a custom player from the Cajun 6 series. So we got Jose Cheltenham from Grambling. You got Flash Jackson out there from Tulane. We don't necessarily need a defensive tackle. It's like at this stage, late in the first round, you're taking a guy like Eric Killings just to give you some depth and give you some insurance, right? We've got 3 guys on the roster at defensive tackle right now, so it wouldn't be a very bad pick per se, but I just feel like I could get a little bit more value somewhere else, and we're just going to keep on scrolling here. We're already in that round 1, round 2 type of range here. D'Jarius Jordan might be a good pick out there from Southern. You got Trevon Vaden, a wide receiver from ULM. So it's just looking like we could sneak away Shaquem Phillips or Tavon Savage Grimes. Savage Grimes out there from Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns in our series, in our dynasty there for ULM, Cajun 6. I'm gonna keep doing that. I do that all the time, so I hope you guys don't think that's annoying. But like, I feel like some people that watch this series who might be new to it, they don't know anything about the Cajun 6, so I have to keep mentioning it. Now, I just don't see anything that I'm not floored. I'm not wowed by anything up on the draft board. Like, we could reach to go get Savage Grimes. We could reach to possibly get the other cornerback, Shaquem Phillips. So I'm thinking about, like, I want to get more picks back. We're a Super Bowl winning team. There's nothing really that stands out. Our team is pretty balanced all the way around. Like, I just want picks now. I want some depth. I want some security here for the next couple of seasons. And the only really trade that's really speaking to me right here is Las Vegas. Oakland. The Raiders. That's the one that's really catching my eye here. They're going to give us all 2026 picks, a round 2, round 3, and round 6. That's the one. That's the beautiful one right there. The Lions want to give us round 2, round 6, round 7. I like this one. 2, 3, 6. That's what we're going to get from Las Vegas. So they'll take their man. Houston takes Jose Cheltenham to back up Rain Rowe, who's a great quarterback. He's ridiculous in this series. Raj Patel, former Tulane wide receiver, going to Chicago with Justin Fields. So a nice little 1-2 punch right there. Cardinals are up now. We'll go ahead and simulate their pick as we get LA, Buffalo, Detroit, Seattle coming up here too. How many other Cajun 6 guys are going to be taken? We'll find out. Wesley, Bates, D'Jarius Jordan right there from Buffalo. Flash Jackson going to Detroit. That's huge. Now there's Killings, the defensive tackle. So you see, like, we're already midpoint through the second round. We would have definitely reached for Killings right there. Now, hey, here's a big one. Elliott Sandage going to Pittsburgh. So they get a little insurance policy out there on Kenny Pickett, right? Interesting decision out there in Pittsburgh to go with the mobile quarterback, Elliott Sandage, who really kind of, like, he had spurts where he started showcasing that mobility again in his senior season, but really developed into a nice passer, a really good passer out there. Whereas when he was an underclassman, it was just kind of all, I got to run all the time. Kind of calmed that down a little bit, reined that in, and became a really good quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays out there in Pittsburgh. But now here we are with our round number 2 pick. We've got Vaden is the best player available by all accounts, but we just don't need a wide receiver. The guy, I love Trevon Vaden. He was a beast out there for our Warhawks, but I'm not feeling that one. We just have way too many wide receivers. We've got this guy, Adam Huberman from Tulane. He's a scheme fit. He's fitting right in between that round 2, round 3 projection. The key ratings, though, as far as the combine is concerned, he had a pretty decent combine for a defensive tackle, but I'm looking at those ratings, and the pursuit was nice at A and C. The power moves and finesse moves are decent, but I think I want to go defensive back here. And Shaquem Phillips, like, you could go with Savage Grimes here, but I think Shaquem Phillips is a little bit better. He's faster, at least, with a 4.4, and he's a hidden dev. He's not a custom player. I didn't touch this guy. I didn't make him. But hidden dev Shaquem Phillips, he's got all the tools to be a good cornerback. We might be able to get away with it where Savage Grimes ends up being available here with one of our other picks that are upcoming. That's upcoming. Look at this. We've got our natural pick from the second round here, pick 32. So other players up on the board getting taken. No Cajun 6 guys from what I could tell. And looks like we could go out and grab Savage Grimes right now if we wanted to. But I think actually he was a round 2, round 3 grade anyway. Looking at right tackle, the future of that position, Ryan Ramczyk is not getting any younger. This would be a solid pick, but I think again we've got some young offensive linemen where we might be able to focus on that a little bit later, probably next season. But this guy's intriguing me because from what I'm seeing out of Shade and Sprinkle, LA Rose good, but Shade and Sprinkle, he's definitely got to get some more development, I think. So we're going to challenge him by bringing in an athletic strong safety in Marquise Bacon. I don't like the shoulder pads not getting tucked in there, Mr. Bacon, but I liked what he's bringing to the table athletically. Got some good speed, acceleration is pretty nice too, hit power, might be a pretty good player for us. Huberman was taken, so is Lachlan Chisholm. I think Teo Gardner was taken as well, just a pick before to Seattle. So we do have some Cajun 6 guys going off the board right now. You got Cleveland up on the board. They don't take a guy from our series. You got Atlanta. That's a no-go. So we're starting to now, like, okay, so Dylan Ozenbaugh for New England. That's a good fit for him. He's definitely a Bill Belichick type of guy. Pure tackler. Love it. Love that pick. Now we're up. And I think this is where we're going to go with Tavon Savage Grimes. Yeah, we're going to go to the favorites here. We got up on the board, we got Bruder, we got Deshaun King, Henry Mitchell, just again, a ton of wide receivers. But there's Savage Grimes, rated 3rd and 4th round projection. As far as who's left up on the board, got another wideout, running back we don't need, left outside linebacker that I'm not too impressed with. But I didn't notice Cookie Chunk, the defensive tackle. We were already looking at Huberman earlier. So again, Savage Grimes just kind of falling. He's in that round 3, round 4. I thought he was round 2, round 3. It's actually round 3, round 4. That might be a good pick right there to go with Cookie Chunk. Yeah, you might be able to sneak him away from some teams. Nothing really. I just kind of want to see, like, if there's anybody else down here in the projected undrafted, if they have like really high key ratings, that might be like some sleepers in round 7 or something, but I'm not really finding anything that's catching my eye. But Cookie Chunk might be worth a flyer, right? So his power moves, finesse moves, decent player, looks to be kind of a project player from Southern. Yeah, the block shedding is a C. We don't need a tight end. We don't need Phil Swift from Tulane. Look at this guy. Keelan Montagny. What a name. What a name that is. Didn't make him. Daniel May, right tackle. Not really impressed with that. Let's keep scrolling here. We got Caleb Matthias as a left guard. Skipper Holloway, defensive tackle too. So now it's a question whether I want to go with Chunk or I want to go with Skipper Holloway. 2 defensive tackles. Again, we have 3 guys. We have 3 defensive tackles. Normally, you like to carry like 4, right? Good backups. You can play 2. Sometimes you play 1 in a 3-4. But I like to carry 4 sometimes just to keep that depth going. But yeah, like Matthias, look at those grades there. Awareness is an A, impact A, pass block, run block B, A through C. I mean, that's hard to pass up though too. And we've only got 1 left guard on the roster. Post in the comment section what you would have done here, guys. I'd love to know that. What would you have done in this situation? We still don't know what I'm going to do. But what would you do in this situation? Would you take Chunk? Would you take Holloway? Would you take Matthias, the left guard? Post in the comment section below to let me know what you think here. But just comparing the grades. You know, Holloway's a D to an F. An F? What's an F? An F. Cookie Chunk, he's going to be our guy. Agility's a 68. Not too bad for a big guy, but we'll take him. So I'm interested. What would you guys have done given the combine grades, given the key ratings? We go with Cookie Chunk. Would you have gone with Holloway? Would you have gone with a cornerback? What would you have done in that situation? Was there another player up on the board that, we want to look at? There's Matthias right there getting taken to the Vikings. Vikings are kind of killing us a little bit here in the offseason. Interesting. Now it's our pick up again. We could take back-to-back defensive tackles. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either. You always need help on the defensive line, in my opinion. That's honestly what I'm thinking here. Or even like outside linebacker. Like, again, we need some depth at that position. Could take Grimes right here too, or excuse me, Savage Grimes. You could take Peter Zander. Not a scheme fit, but he does fit a positional need. But I think Savage Grimes is the guy. Look at the athleticism there. We got kind of a steal at this point. He's a hidden dev in round number 3, because we're starting round 4 now. To close out round 3, we get a hidden dev. I think that's a winning move right there. That's clutch. He's quick. He's quick. He's got good, decent man and zone coverage too. I think that's going to be all right. Now, as we keep simming forward, not seeing any other Cajun 6 guys here. We got Leach is being drafted, Jenkins, Decker. You guys don't care about these names. Nobody cares about these custom or these non-custom players. Skipper Holloway, custom guy, he's going to go to Cleveland. So I think like the winners of the offseason, there's Tulatali Man from Grambling State, backup quarterback, only really had 1 year of gameplay before Jose Cheltenham kind of transferred over there and took his job. But I think the winners of the offseason, definitely Minnesota and Cleveland. Cleveland was pretty darn active in free agency, and they're doing a pretty bang up job here in the draft so far. Now for us, like, I'm only looking at this wide receiver because he's the best available, and he's just kind of sitting there. We're in round 4, and he's projected round 2 to round 3. So those guys always interest me. Like, why are you there? There's something wrong, if you're still up there. We do have a couple other custom guys up there. We got Bruder. We got Zander. It's an outside linebacker. I think that's probably going to be my pick here. We do have DeMarcus Harding is a strong safety who's been favorited. So he's one of our custom guys. But I feel like Zander fits the need. He's athletic enough to where he could be like that backup type of guy for his career. Probably never going to start. Depth guy. He's going to have to work a lot in order to get really good, in order to play a lot more. But we also got Terrence Miles, cornerback too. Could be a guy that we want to focus on here. Or we could just trade it away. We could just trade the pick away. I don't know what kind of value that we would get from that, but let's just go ahead and make that selection. I think it's going to be Peter Zander. Again, he fits a need. Not very good in some other areas. Definitely a project linebacker, but he was decent for Grambling State, along with Prince Smith, Ozenbaugh. Zander was kind of the of that 3-headed trio at linebacker. He was like number 3. So, and Prince Smith's not coming out until next season anyway. So I'm going to end up simulating from round 4 onward, actually round 5 onward, just because I'm not finding enough guys to like hone in on, and I'm taking my slow, sweet, ever-loving time. So let's just simulate the rest of this and see what happens. But we're going to take Phillips, Bacon, Chunk, Savage Grimes, and Zander. So those are our 5 picks. And they're pretty good, pretty decent overall ratings. But take a look what the CPU did for us. They took every custom player. They probably went off of my favorites list. That's probably what ended up happening here. So we got Deshaun King, Henry Mitchell. We got everybody. Mike Cash, Shamrock, Landon Watkins, all from Grambling. It's crazy. It's crazy what happened there. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Now, going by like round 5 here from across the NFL, I just want to see if there was any other guys that were Cajun 6 that were taken where we might have been able to go grab those players, right? So we got Miles here, we got Bruder, got Thibodeau for the Chiefs was taken right ahead of us, and then we took Deshaun King. I honestly think that that's what happened. So if you put people on your favorites, if they're there, if you sim it, they'll take them. Kind of like a queue, like you're setting a queue list. Bryce Triplett, a safety, a DB out of Tulane. There's Landon Watkins again for you. So now we're in round number 7. I think that that's probably going to cut it for the Cajun 6 players here. I don't see anybody else other than, of course, Mike Cash being Mr. Irrelevant. He was Mr. Irrelevant at 64 overall. Actually, he's getting -1 to his morale, so I think he's about a 65. But guys, that is it for the off season. We're done. Free agency was really kind of uneventful for us. Again, we're kind of stacked in some areas. It just didn't make a lot of sense to kind of break the bank and, you know, pay for people like Simmons or Rousseau and like block those guys, make those guys pass rushers 2s. Like, it just didn't make any sense. Or like overpay for JJ Watt and make him pass rusher 2. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense for us. So let me know what your thoughts are about the draft. Let me know what your thoughts are about the off-season moves that we made. And let me know what your projection is for us this year. I mean, we made some decent moves in the free agent period and, of course, in our draft that we drafted all of those wide receivers. Look at this. Basically, our whole entire wide receiver room is filled with Cajun 6 players because that's all that people submitted in season number 1. Just think it's kind of funny. Offensive line is kind of coming together now. We've got Kelly here, who's kind of he's got the job to himself now, right? So he's got to come into his own now. He's got full reins on that position. So now he's got to actually come through. You know, and Calvin Throckmorton, he's better rated. He's a 71, but not by much. You know, Kelly's a 69, so it's kind of splitting hairs at that point. So let me know what you think about the offensive line situation. Let me know what you think about the defensive situation. The reason why I have so many cornerbacks, in gameplay we seem to get carved up quite often. You know, I got to shore that up a little bit, and I think we did that. I think we really did that. Maben's a 68. He's in the number 5 hole. You got Phillips is now in the 3. Savage Grimes in the 4. It's going to be interesting to see, like, who can fit in that nickel role, right? Who can fit in the slot type of role? Is it going to be Paulson and Debo? I'd have to look and see what their man coverage ability is. Who's ever better in man, I might stick them at the slot and just let one of those youngsters, either Savage Grimes or Shaquem Phillips. Remember, Phillips is a hidden dev. He could be a superstar. He's probably a star. There's more of them than there are the others, like Superstar, X Factor. I didn't make Shaquem Phillips, so he's a CPU guy, so I don't know what his rating is. I do know what Savage Grimes is. He's a star dev. I know that for a fact, because I know in college, at the college level, at Cajun 6 level, the series, he didn't win really any awards. He wasn't really a stats leader, but he was a custom guy, and that's the minimum dev trait that you can have. If you're a custom guy, you get star. That way you're not getting screwed, right? You can see your player perform to get into the action, to progress, right? You don't want to be sitting here in season 10 and your guy just starting now to play as a third string cornerback. Like, you don't want to see that happen. So I'm just interested to see who's going to win that job, because you've now got Lattimore, you've got a Debo, and you've got those 2 youngsters at corner. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that number 2 job or the number 3 job. So it'll be fun. So guys, we're going to simulate the preseason. We got another rematch, a little Super Bowl rematch there with the Chiefs to open up NFL preseason games. And we're going to simulate all of preseason. We're going to get a stats check and see who's going to win those jobs. And then we're going to get into week number 1 in that very same video. So opener of next week's video is going to be a little slow because of the preseason stuff, but I'll add a timestamp in there if you want to get straight to the action for the Buccaneers home opener, or our home opener against the Buccaneers, I would say. But should be a good one. So guys, that's it for the video. Leave a like if you like this thing. I'll see you in the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace.